Hello there, my name is Lester Taylor, and as a Town Councillor and Deputy Mayor of Shaftesbury, I've been working hard with a team to try and prevent the beds being closed in the Westminster Memorial Hospital behind me. Now, I've only been a small cog in a large machine that has produced some outstanding results of public engagement over the last few weeks, and I thought you'd like to know where we're at today. But before I do tell you where we're at now, I'd just like to take you back through the last couple of weeks and explain to you what's been going on in the background. When it was first identified that a threat of closure hung over the beds at the Westminster Memorial Hospital, the Town Council held a series of public meetings where the body proposing the changes that could lead to the loss of the beds, the Dorset Clinical Commissioning Group or CCG, would be able to make its case to the people of the town. To say that the people of Shaftesbury were unhappy with this possibility would be a severe understatement. At its meeting on the 11th of October, the Council discussed the hospital and agreed that the main principles were to retain the beds at the hospital and to work with all the local towns and parishes to establish the position. As a result, the Council set up the Westminster Memorial Hospital Working Group and invited all interested parties to participate. It was quickly identified that no amount of street protests, letters to MPs, petitions or placard waving would have any effect on the CCG. The only way to engage was through the official public consultation process by getting as many people as possible to complete the consultation questionnaire. Into the breach stepped local resident Julian Prichard and his Save Our Beds campaign, and this is where the bulk of the effort has been put. Marshalling over 100 dedicated activists, thousands of the consultation documents were passed out to the public. There was even a Save Our Beds pop-up shop set up in the town high street to allow passers-by to drop in, read the documentation and complete a form. So where are we now? The upshot is that the shop alone collected over 5,200 paper questionnaires, which is on top of the approximately 8,500 for the rest of the whole of Dorset that have been sent off by post or online. This means that about 40% of all the forms submitted will be from the Shaftesbury Hospital catchment area. A stunning result. I asked Julian how he felt at this stage.
Elated, I think is the word. I never thought we'd get past 2,000, and we've hit 40% of the entire returns for the whole of Dorset, or maybe even more, but at least we've hit 40% of the whole of Dorset's returns to the CCG.
Well, that's an incredible achievement from what you thought was an aim of 2,000 to actually get to 5,000. What do you think actually got the people out? What galvanised them?
Having a great team of volunteers. We couldn't have done it without the volunteers, and they have taken the news of what we're doing out to the streets, to the villages. We've just used different ways of collecting in questionnaires, and that's really been it. That we've changed as the campaign's gone on.
Yeah, how many volunteers have you actually got hold of to help you?
I have to say it's probably somewhere between 100 and 150. I couldn't count. We will find out after we've returned the questionnaires to the CCG. We're doing a thank you to all the volunteers. We'll have an idea then of the numbers, but it's somewhere between 100 and 150.
So what now? Now you've collected all these questionnaires. I see they're all being boxed up as we speak in the shop behind you, being gaffer taped up, and all the boxes are being numbered. So what's the next move?
The next move is we are taking a convoy of cars and 10 box bearers down to the CCG in Dorset, and we're going to parade them to Tim Goodson, who is the accountant in charge of the CCG's proposed changes to Dorset, and hopefully he'll be very happy to have our views expressed succinctly as possible by the majority of the residents in Shaftesbury.
Having had a look at the forms initially, what do you think is the overall response of the people of Shaftesbury and the surrounding areas to the proposal to shut the beds?
Very simply, let's keep the beds open and working as they have done. The residents need them. We need more medical beds, we need more nursing home beds, but most of all we need to keep the beds we got for as long as we can.
That's excellent news. So we hope that Tim Goodson will receive them in the spirit they're intended, and maybe they'll listen to the people of Shaftesbury and change their mind, which a lot of people are telling me. They're saying, well, actually, it's all done and dusted. We'll try and do what we can. But do you think the battle is really over?
The battle isn't over, but certainly the first shots have been fired. I think if they've got 8,500 questionnaires returned for the entire of Dorset as of yesterday morning, and we're presenting them with another 5,000, almost 200 this afternoon, that says you have to listen.
Yesterday, the 28th of February 2017, these forms were boxed up and taken to the CCG HQ in Dorchester, where the 11 boxes were carried into the CCG offices by Save Our Beds volunteers led by the Mayor of Shaftesbury, John Lewer. The boxes, together with letters from the Town Council, the Working Group and the Shaftesbury and District Task Force, were handed over. After the event, I caught up with the Mayor of Shaftesbury and asked him what he made of the event.
Well, I think it was very successful. I don't think that we could expect more at the time. We've handed a letter in. The letter requires some answers. We had a short discussion in the foyer, but I'm waiting now for the official response from the commissioning group to see what they say about the extending the timetable for the consultation and how they will interpret the results.
Right, and what do you make of the absolute number of over 5,000, and what does it say about the people in the town of Shaftesbury?
Well, it says two things. I think, first of all, it's a close community, a very caring community, and I would expect a big response anyway. But the number compared to Dorset as a whole says something about the facilities that are under threat. And I think the facility that's under threat, the Westminster Hospital, is one that, quite rightly in my mind, everybody is concerned to keep. It's a long way to any other town from here, and that facility is something that cannot be lost.
I then talked to the chairman of the Westminster Memorial Hospital Working Group, Councillor Anthony Austin, and asked for his take on events.
The handover procedure went slightly better than I expected. I half expected them to worry about taking these on because of transporting them to Swansea, but they did so, and they did so with good grace, and I think that they were quite surprised, as we have all been, by the huge number of returns that we've got. I think that the Chief Executive knows he is facing a huge problem as a result of this, and I have a feeling that he probably thinks he wished it would go away.
Right, and what do you say about the actual, I've asked the same question of the Mayor, about the town of Shaftesbury rising to this challenge?
I think that apart from the historical fact of the hospital, the sentimental view of the hospital, that this town is hugely concerned with its long-term provision of healthcare, and the Westminster Hospital has been substantially important over many years, and they don't want to see that reduced, because if it is reduced, we lose the benefit of National Health Service cover and possibly going into nursing homes or whatever, but not under the aegis of the NHS. So there is a heck of a concern, and that has been marshalled by, thank heavens, a whole host of people under Julian Prichard, who's done a great job on getting people really motivated, people who are already concerned about it, and then he's brought them together and helped them bring these huge numbers into being.
And with the final results of the consultation not due until September, I believe that the final word should belong to Julian Prichard, the leader of the Save Our Beds campaign.
Well, I think it was a slow walk into the reception area. There was a little bit of upset that we hadn't forewarned them of the numbers of people coming, but then yesterday we only had 5 people who were agreeing to come when I spoke to Pauline, so it's just hasn't been enough time to keep everyone informed all the way through. But overall, the handover's been pretty good. They've agreed to send them up to ORS for us, and so we're just helping them in the final stages of sending these questionnaires on their way to be analysed. So all in all, pretty good campaign.
Good. And what did you make of of what they said as you handed over and the conversations you had? What did you make of their attitude to all of this?
Well, on film, one couldn't fault what they said because they didn't say very much at all. But I've certainly had some interesting conversations afterwards, which have been productive and hopefully will lead to us having some input into this process at a later date.